This is a second stimulus check update. Nancy Pelosi, Steve Mnuchin had another 50-minute conversation yesterday, and Nancy Pelosi said she is optimistic for a pre-election stimulus. The Senate got back from their vacation yesterday, not to focus on stimulus negotiations, but to have a vote to fill the vacancy of the Supreme Court of Justice. Then later on in the video, I'll give you the latest timeline of when we could realistically expect a second stimulus check. Before we get started, quick reminder, I'm giving more cash to subscribers, and I'll have details to that down in the description below. I hope you're having a great day so far. I was able to take a bike ride on the beach with my 2-year-old daughter on the back. We live a few miles away from the beach, and if the conditions are right, it could be a really fun time. All right, on to stimulus news. So fire them all is what the GOP governor of New Hampshire said, talking about how Congress is not able to pass a stimulus deal and basically doing nothing for the American people. Let me play this clip really quick and let me know your thoughts on it.
In terms of the stimulus talks and this continuing delays and nothing getting done, right? You're ready to throw all the bums out.
Fire them all. I mean, I really mean that sincerely. No one in the Senate or Congress can say that they've shown leadership on the COVID crisis. What have they done since March? Like literally nothing. They made a lot of promises, but they've literally done nothing. No leadership, no innovation, no challenging the system, right? They've kind of thrown their hands up and walked away from the whole thing. They said they were going to do some stimulus. They walked away. Look, I just say, put it this way. Would the country be better or worse off if you replaced all 535 of them today? I think the odds say would probably be a little bit better, right? Because you get the political nonsense out of the picture. You get all of that things that have just clogged the system up so badly. It's like you got a pipe that is so clogged, all the Drano in the world ain't going to clean it. You got to cut the pipe out and start again. And I think that's what you're going to see over the next few campaign cycles here. I think the people of America are sick and tired of nothing. You've got to manage. You've got to move the ball forward. You have to show leadership in some way. They've done virtually nothing. So I think we're going to get a stimulus package after the election, probably in early 21. I think if the Democrats are in there, it's going to be an astronomical amount of money. We'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, flexibility to the states, flexibility to the states. Trust us, as governors, we know what we're doing.
He brings up a great point and says what we've all been thinking and what a lot of you have been saying in the comments. Just get rid of them and start with a clean slate. Let me know down in the comments below, should we fire them all? Should we have a clean slate? Are there any good politicians? Let me know down in the comments below. So he brings up a great point that there's too much gunk in the pipe and there's nothing you could do about it. When we have somebody like Nancy Pelosi with a net worth of $120 million, she got into Congress in 1987, so she's been in there for 33 years. And then someone like Mitch McConnell, net worth of $30 million, was in Congress in 1984, so he's been in Congress for 36 years. People like that shouldn't be in Congress for that long. It's not about Democrats or Republicans at that point, it's about the haves and the have-nots. They have too much power. There's a reason why the President of the United States has a 4-year term, and you could get a limit of 2 terms, because power is addicting, and then after a certain point, they're just not productive anymore. Why don't the same rules apply to Congress? I just think it's ridiculous. But what's even more ridiculous is that yesterday they voted in Amy Coney Barrett for Supreme Court Associate. So the Senate, on vacation, rushed back just to have a vote to confirm Judge Barrett into Supreme Court. If this wasn't an election year, this process could have taken weeks, if not months longer. But because of the election, they rushed in and put all of their focus, time, and energy onto voting in Judge Barrett, as opposed to putting that time and energy into passing stimulus for millions of starving Americans. Speaking of stimulus negotiations, Nancy Pelosi said that she remains optimistic about a relief package before Election Day. So let me get into details of what was said. Her and Steve Mnuchin spoke on the phone for 52 minutes yesterday. And what she said is that the nation faces record spikes in COVID cases. We continue to eagerly await the administration's acceptance of our health language, which includes National Strategic Plan on testing and tracing. We are hopeful their response will be positive, as we also await the outcomes of talks between committee chairs. It is clear that our progress depends on Leader McConnell agreeing to bipartisan comprehensive legislation to crush the virus. So There is not a lot of truth here. So she said that she's waiting for the administration to accept the health language. That's not the only roadblock that's going on between the stimulus negotiations. So to say that it's all on that is false, because they've spoken that they have not yet to come to an agreement with state and local funding or the liability shield protection, among a few other issues that they didn't say is completely definite and concrete yet. So yes, the health issue, the testing and tracing is an issue. Steve Mnuchin 10 days ago said that he will accept the language. Then the administration changed the language, and they're still having that issue today. So yesterday, Nancy Pelosi said that Monday was the day to decide on the final agreement for the stimulus package so that we could have a vote and pass the stimulus before election. That day came and passed. Exactly 7 months ago today was when we got our first big stimulus package and got our first stimulus checks. 7 months later, we still don't even have a big stimulus package, no stimulus checks, no unemployment insurance, no hazard pay, nothing except for a bunch of blaming of each other from our childish leaders who are supposed to help us during these hard times. Nancy Pelosi continues to say the Republicans continued surrender to the virus, particularly amid the recent waves of cases, is official malfeasance. I had to look up that word. Basically what it means, wrongdoing, especially by a public official. So I got a comment from Willis Gerhold saying, why should they care? They're getting paid every week and full insurance paid for by us. What do they really care about us? I hope they all get replaced by someone new. Thanks for your comment, Willis. I agree. The way that they're acting, it just doesn't seem like they care about the American people anymore, especially with the election coming 7 days away. You would think they would want to do more to help us. Rebecca Ashley says, I read that the Senate needs to wait 72 hours after receiving a bill before being able to vote on it. Is this true? Yes, that is true. In Congress, when a bill is introduced, everybody, all the lawmakers have 72 hours to read through the bill and then have a vote on it. If a bill was introduced and voted on right away, then people wouldn't know what was in the bill and then it would screw everything up. So this is a good segue into the current stimulus check timeline. So if we look at this calendar here, the green represents when the House of Representatives is in session, the blue is when the Senate is in session. So today is the 27th. So even if a miracle happened today, a bill is introduced, we still have the 28th, 29th, 30th in order for everyone to look at it, and then on the 31st there could be a vote. The Senate doesn't need to have another 72 hours. This bill will most likely be introduced in the House first, then the Senate. So they could vote on it the next day, then the president could sign off on it on the 2nd. This scenario is not likely. So the possibility of a stimulus happening is very slim. There really would have to be a miracle happening. So Nancy Pelosi is saying that she's optimistic for an agreement before the election. So it's possible to have an agreement, but not an actual stimulus package pass. Then what's going to happen is, let's just say there is an agreement before. What happens is after November 3rd, we have what's called the lame duck session. What that means is that the people who just got voted in office, they're not going to be able to get into office and do something until late January, February. The people who got voted out of office, they get to keep their position until late January, February. And the people who got reelected, they're staying in office, they're chilling, they already got their votes. Same thing with the other two parties. There's really nothing else for them to do. Why would they help out the American people? They're already getting their salary, they already got their votes, they have their job secured for the next few years. So if a stimulus is not passed before the election, we run the risk of not having something until February, which is really sad news. And the stock market is showing this possibility. So the Dow Jones plunged, the stock market is going down as a result of this. So Steve Mnuchin, Nancy Pelosi, the talks continued, and it's showing that there isn't much progress being made. And a lot of people realize this window of time that I just explained to you is happening, and a stimulus may not be a possibility before the election. So people are panic selling their stocks. The stock market is going down. Then you have more people selling and selling. Stock market is going to continue to go down. And unfortunately, this is going to affect American Americans directly with pensions, retirement, but also the global market is heavily dependent on the US stock market. So the markets in Europe, in Asia, in Australia, if the US stock market goes down, global markets will go down. So billions of people's lives are at the hands of Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin. Here's a COVID news. So we had a high of 74,000. We're still in record high territory. As you can see, it seems like we have an upward trend in terms of cases going on in the US. That's all the stimulus news I have for you today. To cheer up your mood a little bit, here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I tell you the one thing that you should do. When you feel something and you don't really feel good, then be grateful what you have. Be thankful. Because the next day it might not be there. So, that's what I wanted to say. True or false? Bye.
And if you want to learn what makes rich people so rich, I highly recommend clicking this video over here. It's about Mark Cuban. He started off with a net worth of about $0, worked it up to several billion dollars. It goes through the lessons learned along the way, as well as how he got his humble starts. I recommend clicking that video right now. It's on my Wise Vibes channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.